Hey guys, what's up? It is Ripe again, back with more revenge stories, where we read stories about insane coworkers. If you are new around here, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel to join our awesome community. Without any further ado, let's dive right into the stories. And the first one is titled, Fire Me for Not Cheating Your Customers. I will get you bankrupt and close down your bar. So this happened about 5 to 6 years ago when I worked as an assistant bar manager for the worst bosses ever, who we will call Scum Boss and Less Scum. Backstory: these two are bankers who had too much money and decided to buy a bar whilst not having any hospitality experience between the two of them. When they employed me, I was only a bar assistant, but because of their scumminess and micromanaging habits, it made the bar manager and assistant bar manager quit, and I rose to my position. I was good at my job and have always been in hospitality, so I was qualified to be promoted. Our bar is open from 10 AM till 2 AM, so when I became the manager, I did not have anyone to do split shifts with it, as it took them so long to hire someone else. I would be working from 8 AM till 3 AM 6 days a week without any complaints. I liked my staff, but I hated my bosses. I was able to form good relationships with customers, so we had loads of regulars coming in when we were open. And now to the sin. So Scum Boss and Less Scum had no idea how to serve tables, let alone run a bar, but they refused to listen to any of our suggestions and still wanted massive profits. One way was to keep tabs on big party reservations. When the customers in these parties were drunk beyond belief, they wanted us to add items in their orders that they did not order and manually increase the price for any liquor that they bought by the bottle so that their bill would be higher. The previous staff were compliant in following their orders, but I had my morals, so I refused to cheat customers. Scum Boss was not happy that I would not listen to him, so he made sure to make it known that he did not fancy me. He would constantly berate me in front of new staff or his guests. He would constantly bring his coworkers in the bar to show off that he was some kind of big shot in the bar, saying that the only reason why some of our regulars came was because they wanted to ogle at my breasts. Less Scum would try to defuse the situation and apologize for his friend, but when he would get drunk, he would end up doing the same thing. So finally, Scum Boss decided it was time to get rid of me so that they could replace me with a yes man that would not question them, so they decided to sack me and accuse me of stealing tips, giving away free drinks to my regulars, and abusing the staff. By this time I already had another job lined up, as I had enough of them, so I was not really perturbed by losing the job. And by the way, that's the first time I've heard the word perturbed. My issue was that they refused to give me my last paycheck because they had to give my severance, any overtime pay, as well as pay any outstanding annual leave I had. I worked 19 hours a day when I only had to work 8 hours, so I had lots of overtime and had loads of annual leave left, as I could not take any vacations because no one could cover me, so they had to pay me a good $6,000 to $7,000 for firing me. And now onto the revenge. After holding my rightly deserved money back for 2 months, I decided to report them to some government agencies. I reported them to the manpower department, telling them of my work hours and only being given 30 minutes break time, the treatment of their staff, as well as their habit of firing people on tourist visas. If you are on a tourist visa, you are not allowed to work, otherwise you are classified as illegal. I also gave the Environment Agency a ring and report the horrible environment of the bar. We had roaches, rats, and when I told the bosses, they just ignored me and said I should just keep it to myself. In addition to most of their staff not having the proper prior food handling training, my staff resigned when I got sacked, so most of the leftover staff were their yes men who loved sucking up to them. I then met up with some of my regulars who have become my drinking buddies and learned that Scum Boss and Less Scum have been telling customers that looked for me that I quit. So when I told them the whole story of what transpired, they got furious and told all their friends and colleagues to not frequent the bar anymore. They did not like the bosses as well, but came to the bar because of me. Last I heard, manpower agents audited them and discovered that 80% of their staff were illegals and that they were overworking their staff as well as mistreating them. An environment agent came unannounced the following week and discovered the pest infestation, hence making the bar's cleanliness rating as D. They got fined about $20,000 for these negligence, and because my regulars stopped coming to the bar, they only had 20 to 30% of their usual customers. They ended up going bankrupt and closing the bar. I, on the other hand, got my money as well as a good story to tell. And guys, I'm curious, have you ever been the victim of this type of scam? Meaning that you had to pay more for drinks that you actually did not order at a bar? Personally, I hope this has never happened to me, but then again, I would probably not be able to verify it in case I was absolutely wasted and someone decided to up the bill. However, one thing that is pretty common here in Thailand, for example, when you go to a national park, you have to pay more than the Thai people in case you are a foreigner. Thankfully, I have a Thai driver's license, so I usually pay the normal price. And the next one is titled Coworker Complaints About Free Pizza. So I was told this belongs here as well, please enjoy. So one of my coworkers is a huge choosing beggar, like aggressively choosy to the point that he will bully people who are buying him free things to get exactly what he wants. This normally does not affect me, as I have learned to just tell him to F off. Of course, he always complains and pretends like I just attacked him out of nowhere, but that is not the point of the story. Unfortunately, the person who does all the food ordering and general paperwork stuff in our office is a super sweet older lady that is not comfortable telling people no. One day we had pizza for a lunch meeting and we all realized that the favorite pizza of everyone in the office, which she only ordered one of, at the time she has learned to order more, was obviously different. I forget exactly what got left off, but half of it was not what it normally comes with. I went and talked to the person who ordered it and she straight up told me that CB had stood by her desk and basically berated her until she changed half the pizza to be what he wanted because he did not like some of the topping. He wanted the whole pizza, but thankfully she made him compromise. Ticked me off because my favorite pizza was ruined and he bullied this woman who we all affectionately call the office mom. But whatever, right? It is free pizza, I will just get something else and I will live. The straw that broke the camel's back was when I noticed that he had not even touched the pizza. He was eating a different one. I decided to casually ask why he was not touching it. I come to find out that he did not actually want any during that lunch. He knew he wanted something else, but he figured he might want some leftovers later in the week, so he had her change the order. So basically, this guy bullied a sweet old lady and changed a pizza order for the one pizza everyone in the office wanted, just on the off chance he might want leftovers later. So you want to guess what I did? I ate it, all of it. I didn't want more than one piece, but I ate all 6 pieces of a half pizza just so he couldn't have any. You can bet your ass he complained about it too. I just looked back and was like, oh sorry, did you want some during this meeting? Cause if I had known you wanted it today, I would have saved you some. He glared at me for about a week and I felt like I just ate Thanksgiving dinner, but worth it. And guys, I think I've asked this in the past, but back then obviously the audience was a little bit different, so this time again, I'm curious, what is your favorite pizza? And no, I don't discriminate against people who enjoy pineapple on their pizza. Because if you think that is bad, then you should come to Thailand and see the ranch dressing on pizza you can sometimes find here at a restaurant called Pizza Company, which is basically the national favorite when it comes to pizza. And the next one is titled, Bad Coworker Thought She Could Push the Manager Around. I have a troublesome coworker that thinks she can push the store around. She constantly tries to change her schedule so she can get hours that she wants, even though it makes things hard for the store. Let's just call her Stacy, and she has a history of doing this for over the past year. Well, this year Stacy decided to tell the boss that she could not open the store anymore and that she was only available from 8 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon. Furthermore, she tries to blame other employees for things that she does not get done. Last year she decided to cause an issue with another employee, and that employee turned her in for food stamp fraud. To give you a little background, Stacy lives with her boyfriend and he happens to work for a government contractor, making over $20 an hour plus overtime. Her boyfriend went out of the way to buy her a brand new car to go back and forth to work. In this regard, Stacy lied to the social services by not telling them that he lived in that household. After the report was filed, Stacy came into the store to buy groceries. However, she paid in cash, which prompted me to ask her why she did not use her EBT card. She had told me that somebody turned her in and that her EBT card was shut off. In order to get her benefits back, she moved out and reapplied for food stamps. Once she was approved and got her benefits back, she broke her lease and moved back in with her boyfriend. Fast forward to this year, our store was having attendance and cooperation issues. As a result, there was a store meeting where corporate got involved and every store employee had to be present. During the meeting, they stated that all of the applications for the current employees had an availability for any day and any shift. In order to rectify the problems that our store has been having, corporate has decided that all employees will get scheduled for different shifts, including opening and closing. Stacy decided that she did not like that and over the weekend decided to send a message over Facebook stating that the schedule had better be changed. Stacy threatened the assistant manager by saying she is not working nights and she would not be coming in those shifts. I received a phone call from the store manager saying that Stacy had called out for her shift today and that I would have to cover it. Keep in mind, I already had plans to go out to dinner for my birthday with my parents. While I don't mind the overtime, I am not happy that I had to cancel my reservations and blow off my family. As a result, I have made a call to the social services building in my county and made a report that Stacy is committing EBT fraud. Moreover, if they check the address they have on file for her, they will find that she is no longer living there and that the owner of the property will be able to verify that she broke her lease. This will be the second time that they will catch Stacy lying to them about her living situation. Being that this will be more than one instance where she lied in order to receive benefits, it is very likely that she will be charged with welfare fraud. So now maybe she will be looking at more days off and spending that time in a cell waiting to be arraigned. TLDR, scumbag employee thinks that she can make their own schedule and call out of work, thereby effing over her co-workers' lives and plans. However, the employee is actively committing welfare fraud because she lives with her boyfriend, who makes really great money working for a government contractor and has lied to them about her living situation. And guys, I'm curious, have you ever been in contact with someone who committed welfare fraud? To be honest, if you ask me, that is one of the worst things you can do, because you not only F over the people who pay taxes in order to support you, but you also F over the people who genuinely need this support, and meanwhile you are abusing it. In addition guys, if you have watched until here, I would be really happy if you could subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and please don't forget to post some star emojis in the comments to show your support. Thank you so much. And the next one is titled, "You threaten my job? I take yours." I am a huge fan of this sub and I am excited to share my story and add to the boiling pot of sweet revenge. This happened last year. I was about 6 months into a food service job at the time. I worked in my university's cafeteria, prepping and serving food to the students. After closing, I took about 45 minutes to finish cleaning up my station and took another 10 to finish up one of my co-worker sections that she needed a bit of help with. My supervisor had left just after closing to God knows where, leaving the rest of us to our devices as he usually did. He was more the watch and rule type. After I had finished, I took a quick 5-minute trip to the bathroom as I usually did around this time every day, as I happily walked to the back to assist in helping the others finish so we could all leave. I hear a cough behind me. The sound of the calm before the storm. I ignore it, thinking nothing of it, and go on my way. I hear a more abrupt ahem, and I stop and turn on my heel to meet the shift supervisor's cold gaze, his hands crossed over his puffed chest in his regal stance. I give him a questioning look as he looks on, expecting me to read his mind. Supervisor, a half an hour? He asks calmly, but with a sour tinge to his tone. Me, confused, I chuckle. Huh? This was apparently the worst thing I could have done. Supervisor, you were in the bathroom for half an hour? She yelled, stomping his royal foot. I was taken aback as he had never come at me with a sideways tone before. I thought we were cool, but I should have known better seeing how he treated my coworkers. I was so shocked, I just stood there staring at him like he grew 3 horns. I did not feel the need to defend myself in the moment as I knew the words he was spitting my way was pure BS. Supervisor, do you like your job? He demanded from me. I did not, in fact, like my job. I had trouble holding back my smile at this thought as he yelled some more things I don't remember as my ears had gone numb to his screeching at this point. I knew he had no power to fire me and I had not even seen his mug for the past hour. I knew his words had no consequence, I had nothing to say to his tantrum, and as soon as he realized that, he dismissed me. I have trouble egging people on when they are being so irrational, so generally I stay quiet and let them get out their baby fit. I quickly went back to my work and started scheming about how I could get back at this man. Over the next week I compiled photo evidence of him slacking on the job, serving undercooked food, and statements from my coworkers about their individual experiences where he ridiculed or threatened them, and I took it straight to my boss that Friday. I laid out all of my evidence and my personal encounter, which they would be able to check the cameras and identify both of our whereabouts that day and could see who truly was off duty for a half an hour. I did not think much would come of it as I was a relatively new coworker and honestly I did not care about anything that happened to that hellhole. I let it slip from my mind for the weekend. The next Monday I come in before most and start setting up. After a while the general manager comes out of the back with the supervisor following her like a puppy staring at his feet. He walks sheepishly up to me and invites me to sit with him at one of the tables in the cafeteria where he admits to me that he was in the wrong, should not have yelled at me like that, should be a better leader, is super duper sorry, all that yada yada. I sat there with the biggest grin on my face as he practically groveled at my feet, begging for forgiveness as his boss watched on. This man that sat so high on his horse for the past 6 months, I watched on in celebration as he then apologized to each of my coworkers individually. Not but a week later, he was demoted to a backroom cook and I had been given the role of shift supervisor. We never had a problem after that and he was a generally okay guy. I hope he really did learn his lesson and did not say all those things just to get it over with. Either way, this was the sweetest revenge of my life. I have since quit that job and work for a company with people who actually know how to respect others as individuals, whether their position is below or above their own. Thank you, I hope you enjoyed this story as much as I enjoyed watching it happen. Oh my god. Guys, please let me know in the comments if this was for you also one of the most satisfying stories we have ever read. This one seriously deserves an award. Have you ever gotten a coworker or especially a supervisor demoted? Let us know in the comments if you did. That must be the best feeling of all time in case that guy was a douchebag. The next one is titled, Coworker says the way I dress makes her self-conscious. I am an essential worker, I work in a factory and I wear a uniform, but I still come in dressed how I normally dress. I love to wear skirts and decorative tights under my ripped jeans, bodysuits, crop tops, etc. I am pretty slim and petite. So, one of my coworkers is the same age as me, female 20, and she is a bit on the curvier side. She always comes in sweatpants and baggy sweaters. I have seen her outside of work before, and she does put effort in her appearance when she wants to. One day we were changing back into our normal clothes when I caught her staring at me. I asked her if everything was okay, and she just shrugged and walked out without saying anything. So I ordered this cute yellow plaid skirt, and since the quarantine I have not been able to wear it, so I decided to wear it to work. Walking in, I saw my coworker sitting in the break room talking to some other people. I go over to the table I usually sit and start chatting with some coworkers while I put my stuff in its place. One of the guys is this man in his 40s with a daughter close to my age. He said he liked my skirt and might get one for his kid. This caught her attention and she asked why he would allow his daughter to dress like a slut, just to please the YouTube algorithm. This made people stop and stare at her. When she realized what she said, she just got up and walked out of the break room into the locker room. Upset, I followed her in and just saw her changing into her uniform. I asked her why would she say something like that, and all she said is,
"I have no reason to explain myself to you."
I told her, "Considering you were talking about me, I think you do." She huffed and said that I am obviously trying to get people to look at me and expect that every girl has to dress like this. That I was begging for attention and how I made her self-conscious. First off, I don't dress for other people, I dress for myself. I basically flipped it on her by saying, "Well, I don't like the way you dress because you're making people think that girls should not take pride in the way they look." She says,
"I don't give a damn what people think about me."
Which I reply with, "Then why do you care so much about how I dress?" Her response is,
"Because no normal person dresses like that. You look stupid and people think you're a freak."
She leaves the locker room all smug as if she just won this fight, but because of her little outburst in the break room, people started giving her the side eye. She noticed this and now blames me for making people think she is a bad person. Sorry if the story is a little jumbled, it just makes me so upset thinking about it. To be honest guys, I think when people say that they don't care at all about what other people think about them, especially their appearance, then I don't think these people are genuine. To a certain extent, by nature, I think humans are always concerned about what others think about them, whether it be positive or negative feedback. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. And the next one is titled, "My coworker used me to terrify an entitled prat of a customer." So I used to work at an indoor paintball arena as a referee and I was quite good at it as I am 6.5, haven't cut my hair in 3 years and I am not afraid of roasting idiotic customers into oblivion, which are all very important traits when your job involves giving registered firearms to 35-year-old man-children. For context, this customer was a head shorter than me and my coworker was even shorter than him. At this place we only did bookings, we almost never allowed walk-ins and this was the final session of the day. Every single person who had booked was there bar one, and so I started the group on time and told my coworker who was working the front desk that I would not let this late guy play if he was not there in half an hour, which is fair as they are told to arrive an hour early. I would have to pause the session to brief them and it was the last session of the day. If he did not play, I got to clean his gun early, which can take hours to do all of them. Naturally, about 40 minutes later, a guy walks in from the front room followed by my coworker, and this dude has fire in his eyes, at least until he notices me. He walks over and I bend down to hear what he has to say. A game was on at the time, so the arena was very noisy. You practically have to press your ear to someone's mouth to hear, and I sure as hell was not taking my earplugs out. And he starts explaining in an extremely small and nervous voice about traffic. Now this guy was like petrified for some reason, like he could not meet my eyes, was wringing his hands, that kind of thing. Naturally, I tell him I could not care less about his excuses and that next time he should not treat other people's time with such contempt, and he sulks off to miserably watch his friends play. Now during this interaction my coworker was standing an odd 10 feet behind him, silently doubling over with such violent laughter his head was almost on the ground, and so when I call for a break I go to the desk to ask him what happened. It turns out our late boy had a very different demeanor when interacting with someone shorter than him. He apparently went into a fit of rage saying,
"I'm a social media influencer and I will destroy this place if you don't let me play. I will get my followers on this and get you shut down."
At which my coworker, who had seen right through this pathetic little man's threats, hatched a plan and said, it is not up to me, the ref decides whether you can play. Let's go talk to him," leading him to the large bearded man in the next room. All I can say is, make sure you have a really big coworker you can send colossal gits to. I'm upset he did not have a go at me though, would have been a much more entertaining story if I could say I berated him to tears. I mean, it would not be the first time I did that in this job, but that is a story for another day. The next one is titled Coworker Who Steals Food. I have a coworker that likes to steal stuff. She will take sips of people's drinks, take from a pack of rolls and other people's cookies that were safely tucked away. One day I had Girl Scout cookies, Thin Mints, that I had hidden away. Guess who found them and ate them? When I called her on it, I basically yelled at her, she put the cookies down and apologized. It was a BS apology, like when you bump into someone and say,
"Oh, sorry,"
like the cookies just fell in her mouth. She offered to replace them. She is a weird health food person and only eats special organic crap. I personally don't care what diet/lifestyle people choose, but she is the type of person who thinks that she's better than everyone else because she follows diet XYZ. She brought me in some weird health food knockoff Thin Mints. They were disgusting and the texture made me want to puke. She knew damn well the cookies she stole from me were real Thin Mints. We had a celebration in the office recently and she offered to bring Girl Scout cookies. I thought she would bring the knockoffs, but she didn't. The box of cookies sat there unopened until the end of the day when I put it in my bag and walked out with it. Edit: all of us have tried to handle this situation of food theft in a professional manner. We have asked her to leave our food alone, to please ask if she would like something, etc. She does not respond to it at all. A few people took the direct approach like, "You touch my food and I will end you." They all got reported to HR. One coworker told me that they got called into a meeting where there was our manager, the food thief and them. They were basically made to apologize to the food thief for threatening them. Apparently, the root cause of food theft was totally glossed over and barely mentioned. It went something like,
"Well, we all know taking food is wrong."
So guys, what would you do if someone stole your food at work? Let us know in the comments. And obviously guys, if someone decides to take away my chocolate chip cookies, then a war is about to start, let me tell you that. And guys, unfortunately for today, we have reached the end of the video, and please let me know in the comments if you enjoy these story compilations about coworkers or neighbors. To be honest guys, this is pretty much a compilation of several different subreddits and it is a lot of fun to read. Therefore, I always appreciate your feedback in order to change things up on the channel. Either way, please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and please also click the bell icon to never miss any of my videos. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for all of your support. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.